back at a spot in history, Pine Grove Furnace, and it's a settlement that started in 1764, and this is one of the most unique places because it's well preserved. Re-oiling the wheel, I was here almost a decade ago, and this whole wall was still standing. So I want to show you some pictures when I was here earlier. Now it's all mountain ground, but you can just see the hard work they put into that. But this is believed to be settled by the early colonial settlers, one of the Appalachian mountain's most original settler locations.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Like I said, this is one of the most well-preserved iron furnace communities, along with the iron furnace. In here, especially, that is well preserved. Would have been the area where they would have loaded everything. They would have took it to the top. Limestone, iron ore, charcoal, and all the hard work, all the choppers, all the men that worked in the mountains to get the charcoal came out here, and came down a channel and had little side chutes. That's where they would have collected the iron ore, molded it into different things. This part, different iron stoves and everything else they made back then. But let's take a closer look. I mean, you can walk and actually go inside. Now right here is what they call a salamander. It was solidified iron that would get stuck in the bottom, and they'd have to work very hard to remove it. It could be upwards to 4,000 pounds. Here we're looking at unique channels of water here that they would have brought the water over to power the furnace.
Nothing tells history better than looking back at old pictures.
Here we are in front of the Paymasters Cabin. And the unique thing about it, you go up one side to get your pay and down the other when you receive it. You'd work 6 days a week, and Saturday would be payday.
The owner's mansion.
This would have been the owner, the man who made it all happen. But I'm sure the living conditions of the workers were not quite this way. A lot of it still remains. And a porch like this would have been a real neat place to spend an evening, looking across these mountain ranges at the awesome, beautiful sky. So here you'd have the old mill, and you can see the church behind it, part of the old community. And this is now the Appalachian Trail Museum, and a place for refuge to take a break for the hikers. Okay, we're walking in the first ever Appalachian Trail Museum. This is right next to the midpoint of the trail, and this is for hikers to come in and look at all the history of the Appalachian Trail and to get things they need. People donate items like apples and toilet paper and whatever else they need as they're walking the trail. Earl Schaefer's the original shelter ever made on the Appalachian Trail, and they just brought it here. It was on Peters Mountain, and they put it together piece by piece to show you the exact shelter that he built. See, the old mule station used to be a general store till the 1930s. And here it's well preserved, and it's unique to today. It's a half point of the Appalachian Trail where they take the half-gallon challenge. And I spoke to some of the trail hikers, and they said you'd be surprised how easy it is to eat a half-gallon ice cream when you're walking the trail all all day.
From a mule stable to a general store.
And here we are walking what used to be the old mule stable, and you can see the iron bars still remaining, which that's pretty unique. Now up in here, down the Appalachian Trail, there's an old short line railroad. Takes you to an awesome place just back in where they had an amusement park up until early 1900s, and a few remains. Now we are on the railroad. We came down the Appalachian Trail, and they had a stop here, a short line railroad. See this iron furnace that went till 1895, and they needed more to the railroad, so they made a whole amusement park here. And here behind us is an old swimming pool that's up until the times of Girl Scouts used to have a swimming pool here. But there's also foundations of remains of this amusement park, and we'll take a look. Down along the edge here, the swimming pool area, you can see the remains of the old iron steps going down through, and a handrail. Would have been unique to take a swim next to a creek like this and resort amusement park. And you can see the old wall all filled in for those that walk by, so it's safe, I'm sure. Down here along the creek, the old stairway, bridge. This would have been the bridge foundation here. And if you were walked across the bridge, over across here, the remains of an old bowling alley. They used bowling alleys a long time ago. This would have been one or two lane bowling alley. There's not a whole lot with the foundation remaining. A beautiful place. So imagine walking up here to the swimming pool. What would have happened here years ago?
In the late 1800s, you need a round-trip ticket. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.